Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
See-through cards, little sugar cubes, little candy hearts, woodland critters. Where do I sign up?
It's on Kickstarter. You just go to the description and click the link and back the game. Like, you don't have to sign up for it. So typical disclaimers before we get started. This is a prototype we're working with, so some of the components may change, although honestly, like these are pretty sweet components, these little sugar cubes.
Sweet?
No.
Puns?
Puns. Yes, intentional puns.
Edible? They're not.
They're not. There's actually a warning in here. These are not candy.
Don't think about it. I know you're thinking about it, but don't.
We're also filming on our GameTopper tabletop. This is our channel sponsor. We absolutely love Berkey and the entire team over at GameToppers. If you don't have one, definitely check them out. So Macaraccoon is a pretty cool drafting game where you are drafting off this board based on where the last person drafted from. So you can only draft adjacent to the open space. You can draft a orthogonally adjacent card, the little see-through cards from there to build orders. So you have your order tableau up top. There's two different lines that you can fulfill orders from, and you are trying to build the combination they're looking for. But what makes it kind of a unique drafting game is that you have to draft your items in the correct order. So you have to get a base, which is like a waffle or a tart or a little streusel.
No, not streusel. Come on, man. No. We've got waffles, pancakes, cheesecake, and lemon tart, which I don't know if you've noticed. No macaroons. No.
And then you have the filling for them and then the topping. And you can when you draft, you can put them on top of your pile or underneath your pile, but you can't stick them like in the middle. So the order in which you draft things is kind of important, but you can have three different plates going that you can combine later, but you still can't mess the orders up. So when you're drafting, you have to kind of think of what order do I want to draft these different items in, but also like what's available to me, because you can only draft orthogonally adjacent to that opening slot.
Well, but you can spend sugar, and sugar is a very valuable resource in this game. These little sugar cubes. You have a jar, which is a little mini economy in its own, because you fill the jar up from the bottom to the top, and you can spend them from the top to the bottom, like you're pulling them out of the jar. But the little rows you have in there are significant, and I'll get back to that a little bit later. But you can take sugar cubes and you can jump over spaces to draft other things.
And you can also jump over orders. If you don't want to fulfill the first person, you can skip in line to fulfill
It's like you're bribing them with sugar. You're like, hey, your order's not ready yet, but how about I give you a little sugar, and then I'll go complete the order of the person behind you.
You just tried to bribe a federal officer.
No, technically I didn't bribe anybody.
But sugar is super valuable because in that jar with those rows, you can actually spend sugar from those rows to do what's called a sugar rush, which is to take an additional action on your turn, basically a whole extra turn, because you only do one action per turn. But you spend the entire row, or whatever is in that entire row, right? So like there's a row here that is 3 sugar cubes, and yeah, if that row is full, you would spend that whole row. But if you only had 1 cube in that row, you would spend that 1 cube, which is the whole row at that point, right? You can never spend the bottom row, but timing your sugar rush is really important. Speaking of which,
So I do really appreciate in games when you have to spend a resource to skip things, how you spend that resource to the board, which this game does as well. So if you skip over orders or you skip over ingredients, you will spend your sugar cubes onto whatever you skipped over, making those things more valuable for someone else. So you may say like, oh, I don't really like this order, so I want to skip it. But if a few people have skipped it, now that order is starting to look pretty good because there's a lot of sugar cubes on it in addition to what you get for fulfilling it.
And you could even be like, during the drafting phase, I could be like, well, I'm going to draft this thing that has the sugar cube on it that I don't really need, but I need a thing that's adjacent to that. And because I just got that sugar cube, that's now in a row of its own, so I can spend that immediately to sugar rush and draft the thing I really wanted. So net 0 on the sugar there. Like it's pretty good. There's another thing here that we haven't talked about. There's 3 actions that you can do. We've talked about 2 of them. One of them is drafting an ingredient, and one of them is fulfilling orders. The other one is working with your fellow woodland creature workers who are in the bake shop or whatever that are cute animals. You can trigger their special ability. Each one of them is above a column in the kitchen, and they have 2 different options on them. Once you pay their cost, which is also 2 different options, either sugar cubes or burning ingredients from your plates here, you can then do the text ability on them, and you get to draft a resource from the column that they are above, and you can do that in any order. And some of these can be pretty powerful that really kind of shake things up. But again, their costs are, because sugar cubes are the part of the cost, like, they can be kind of high. You can feel like, I'm going to spend 3 sugar cubes to do that. It's got to be a really big swing, and usually it is.
It usually is. I also really appreciate that whenever you take something from the ingredients pool and you draft that, you get to pick what refills it from, like, the upcoming ingredients.
Yes.
So there's a little bit of, like, not quite hate drafting, but you can create the board that either, ooh, I really need a chocolate sauce, so I'm going to make sure I'm putting chocolate sauce on the board. Or you can go, ooh, Tom really needs a chocolate sauce. Let's make sure we keep putting things on the board that Tom does not need.
Yeah, so especially for, like, the player who's going immediately after you, you can be like, well, because you're going to draft adjacent to where I just drafted, so I'm going to fill in this space with something you don't want. And you can even be like, well, look, I know that they're eventually going to get that thing that they want because it's on there, but I'm going to make them pay for it with sugar. Boom, I'm going to make you further away from it now. I've also played this game at 2, 3, and 5 players, so it's really great at all player counts. I know I didn't do 4, but no, come on, it's basically all of them. Brought this to my friendly local game store, Darby's Dungeon, and played it with a bunch of people there who all had a really good time. They loved the super cute art, and I think these sugar cubes, honestly, these are, you can't feel them through the screen. I know that. They really do feel like sugar cubes. Like they have a little bit of, like, rough texture. They feel like I feel like if I squeeze, I'm not going to do it, but I feel like if I squeeze them, they're going to crumble into sugar. And then the candy hearts have this, like, powdered feel, like powder coating, like an actual candy jelly would have, like, a little bit of powdered sugar on them. Like the components, and this is a prototype.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So, and like the component quality, the see-through cards, the artwork, the cute little critters, like everything about, you know, the theming and the production value of this game is just phenomenal.
In fact, I'm still not convinced these aren't actually sugar cubes.
Don't do it. Don't.
So I got a call from legal, and I'm actually not allowed to describe the mouthfeel of these. Don't put them in your mouth.
We cannot stress enough, do not eat any of the things you see in this video.
So nerds, if you like drafting games, if you like super cute artwork or great component quality, you definitely got to check out Macaraccoon on Kickstarter. There'll be a link down in the description where you can go over to the Kickstarter page and check it out.
And while you're down there, of course, check out our link for GameToppers, as we said before, sponsor of Neverboard Gaming. But down there is also going to be the most important button of all. It's the subscribe button.
You should click on it, because if you do...
It actually feels like a sugar cube. Yeah, this seriously works.